Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to episode 1 of Gamescage Talks. This is going to be the first in a series that I've wanted to do for a while, which is kind of like a half interview, half just chill talk with different friends, content creators, influencers out there that I know and have become friends with over time.
Influencers? You're off to a great start,
I know,
this is great.
Listen, man, listen. I don't. It is how it is, bro. There's no such thing as quality content with Fidel. No such thing. Everyone knows that. Obviously, if you know the voice, you know who is here. And if you click the title, obviously, Mr. RogersBase himself.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I literally have no idea what to expect. You said it's an interview-style podcast about video games. I'm like, all right, I'm here.
Exactly. It's
Whatever you need.
I wouldn't even say it's about video games. It's just gonna be about like what you like. You'll see. You're the in some way. It's good that you're the Kickstarter. But on one hand, you also get the shit end of the stick because like it's just gonna be everywhere, you know.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I'm not doing anything. It's a Saturday, so I'm good.
So, Mr. Roger, let's say average Joe, grown Timmy on the street sees you.
Okay.
And he's like,
grown
Timmy on the street sees you, and he's like, what do you do? What would you say?
Okay. I am a content creator, YouTube videographer, Twitch streamer who specifically focuses on video game, anime, and manga content. But I've been doing travel vlogs and songs and a bunch of other stuff too. I'm more of like a variety channel than anything else. But primarily, I do anime and gaming.
And would you say like that, like is over the years now, like now that a lot of time has passed by and the world is used to this stuff, do you still get weird, do you still get like, comments when you say that to people, or is it more like people get it?
That's one weird thing that I noticed. Like I've noticed a lot of other content creators on Twitter who've put up stuff like, oh, I can't go to family gatherings because all my family members like think it's so weird what I'm doing. And I've never had that once, like literally once. My parents thought it was cool. All my cousins think it's cool. Like I'll go to the family Christmases and then my cousins will come up to me and it's like, oh, it's my famous YouTuber cousin RogersBase. You know, it's stuff like that. So I've never really like had those weird looks or anything like that. I understand that it's definitely a weird thing for a lot of people, and I've had to explain it to people, definitely like what I do and in terms of like videos and reactions and things like that. But on the whole, no, people think it's pretty cool. So.
Oh yeah, well, because a lot of people like they'll do the thing where they're like, wait, you can make money doing that? They're like, how does it? A lot of adults will be like, how does that work?
I get that a lot, but then I just explain AdSense and the brand deals and things, and they pretty much understand. I think it's easier for me than I think the average YouTuber because I do rely so much on brand deals and I do work with brands so frequently that for me it's like easier to explain to somebody who doesn't understand. It's like I could go through all of AdSense and I can go through putting in mid-rolls and all this other stuff, but it's just much easier to be like, oh yeah, I do a video with this company and they give me money. You know?
Well, I mean, that's the thing about like you as opposed to a lot of content creators I know, like you have one of the most like constant different partners with people. And like how does it work? Is it because you filter yourself a lot? Is it just because like
no, I've heard that from a lot of people. No, some people, especially early on, were like, "Oh, he's just not being genuine. That's why he's getting all these brands to work with him because he's being family friendly." But I think anybody who like has long time been a listener of Japan Time or has watched any of my stuff or like read anything for a long time knows I don't get to that point. Like I'm not somebody who just like swears constantly. I'm somebody who like you need to push me to that level and then you get Roger Unchained. But then the thing about that I think is really funny is that then people think that's not genuine. And it's like, no, it really is. I'm just somebody who doesn't like to swear. I don't particularly like super violent things. I've always preferred Nintendo games to like, super violent video games. Even when it comes to anime, right? Like I'm more of a shonen person than I am a seinen person. People are recommending me things like Berserk and Vinland Saga and stuff like that. But ultimately, like I like One Piece. I like Hunter x Hunter. Not to say One Piece and Hunter x Hunter aren't violent in certain circumstances. I know you just watched the episode where Killua rips the guy's heart out. So you know.
I was like, what the fuck?
Before we started. But it's one of those things, where I feel like a big thing with my brand deals has been I have gone out of my way from a very early point to only work with companies that I like genuinely.
Okay.
There's been a couple things where it's like I did like a joke Raid Shadow Legends video, and there's stuff like that. But really, those are like one-offs. The people who I work with regularly are companies that like I really respect and that really like working with me. And I think when you work with one big company, it then starts this like chain reaction where all these other big companies
work with
this person, he's family friendly. We can work with this person, he's brand safe, whatever. But yeah, I've always described myself as PG-13.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
I consider myself that I'll always be PG-13. I don't think that'll ever change.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that about myself.
Yeah,
So,
it's good.
yeah.
And like the thing is too, it's like it's what you said, what you were saying before about like people saying genuine, not genuine. I mean, I think that's a problem a
Yeah.
lot of reaction people face. Like
Oh,
I'm
for
so
sure.
bro, like I'm such a small account out there, and when I put reactions, some people are like, "This is bullshit, this is fake," and like I can imagine
course.
on your level how many comments you gotta
See,
deal.
the thing is, though, I don't really get those anymore because
Oh,
I think
really?
people
Okay.
can kind of understand and see that I'm like that. I used to get a lot of that,
Right.
a lot of it.
Yeah.
Especially in the early days before like live streaming. I think when I
Right.
uploaded reactions to like Lucas being in Smash where I was crying or like other things like that, I think people thought I was faking it, like that I knew about it already and that I
Right.
was sort of like prepping myself up to do that. And, you know, I'd be lying if I said that I don't know that a camera's on me. Like, of course I know a camera's on me. So I'm going to play it up a little bit because it's fun.
Yeah,
like I'm in
exactly,
the moment,
yeah.
I'm excited, but like my reactions are genuine. Like when I broke down crying after Smash Ultimate with Everyone Is Here, I
Oh
mean,
my
that
God.
for me was such a big moment. And I talked about that on like the full stream that's still available of the day that that happened. You know, a lot of people are just like familiar with the video where I'm screaming over Snake and Pichu and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you go back to watch the full stream and you understand where I was coming from, where Smash Bros was such a big portion of my life for each chapter of my life, right? Like me growing up, middle school,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
follows a path of
elementary
your
school
life.
was Smash Bros. And then like, yeah, middle school to high school was Melee. And then high school to college was Brawl. And then, you know, going and leaving home and, you know, graduating college, that was Smash 4. And then now like being inside my YouTube career and like doing all this full time, now it's Smash Ultimate. It really does. Like it felt like a new chapter of my life. And I thought it was really cool being a content creator, right? That was the game. That's my first experience going from the beginning of a game, like getting announced to the end of the game getting announced in terms of Smash Bros.
Right.
Because even when Smash 4 first got announced, we did Japan time, but I wasn't a content creator at that time.
Oh, really?
So it wasn't something that I was like consistently uploading videos. No, I started uploading videos a little over, I think, 5 years ago.
Oh, because
5 years ago,
I
6 years ago.
discovered like I'm just like a lot of people. I actually discovered you
Yeah.
from the Lucas reaction. Like that's where I discovered your stuff.
Yeah. So that was one of my earliest videos. Like if you go back, that let me see, 6, 12.
2015?
Yeah, that's in my 20 earliest videos.
Oh
yeah,
my
it's in like my
God.
20 years. Yeah. So there's not much stuff uploaded to my channel before that. I did a couple live reactions to some Nintendo Directs and some other Smash character reactions like Shulk and Robin and stuff. I did like a One Piece Theory video into my Frozen songs, and that was it. And the only other content that was uploaded at that time was like Pokemon battles, because I would do Pokemon battles with Shofu, and then people would say, "Oh, upload your side of things to your own YouTube channel." So I did, but obviously, like audience at the time, people would only know me from Japan time, so they didn't have that much viewership. But that was literally all that was uploaded to my channel before that. So,
Also, I didn't know that. So Japan time was before you were like an established.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. I
Way
thought. Oh, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
yeah, so Japan time started literally me and Ricky,
Yeah.
much talked about Ricky Cocaine.
Ricky Cocaine.
So Ricky was actually a college roommate of mine.
Oh,
And
okay.
like I'm not going to say his real name because
Yeah.
we've done so many trolls, but
let's keep
basically he was a college. Yeah, exactly. Let's keep the mystique up. But basically, like in college, we would play Brawl constantly. Like we'd always be playing Brawl. And then when Smash 4 got announced, that was the first E3 that I actually didn't go to. So I was going to E3 since I was like 18. Actually, since before I was 18, since I was like 16. But I said I was 18.
Oh my God.
And so I mean, I went to like a lot of in-person E3s. And this was the first time where I wasn't able to go, and it just so happened to be unfortunate that it was the first time that a Smash game got announced in the time that I could have been going to E3. And I really wanted to talk about it with somebody. I saw Shofu was uploading his videos, and I thought, well, you know what? I've been friends with Shofu for a couple years, like outside of YouTube and everything. And, you know, Ricky really likes talking about video games and Smash Bros. Why don't we just do a podcast? And I was listening to like a couple podcasts at the time, like One Up Yours and some of the really classic, like old oneup.com shows. And I thought, well, why don't we just do something like that?
Yeah.
But for Smash Brothers. And that's how Japan Time got started.
That's so cool. It's like that's such a like see like that's like a cool piece of history. Like not many people know.
Yeah.
It's like I mean that's
No,
how
yeah.
most podcasts starts. It'll be like usually it's you're with a friend and you're like, there's a lot of shit we like to talk about and we might as well record it, right? It's so much more fun like that. And okay, but here's my thing, right? Because you upload videos of your like your music videos, right? And you do covers and stuff. Like, it's like, so tell what is the path for you before YouTube? Like what is Roger's like story?
Oh, sure. Okay. So when I went to college, I was fully planning on graduating and being a theater teacher. That was totally what I
Really?
wanted to do. Yeah, when I was in high school, I was like, I genuinely wanted to be a theater teacher, not just like and do like voice acting on the side, but mostly theater teaching.
Was
Yeah.
it because like when you were a
Um,
kid, you just liked, like, was it
I
something
just thought it
true?
was fun. Like I wanted to be a teacher, and at the same time, I liked theater, and I just thought it was a good fit
All
for
right.
both. And I liked being on the stage. I like that kind of stuff. I'm a very personable kind of guy, so I thought, yeah, being a theater teacher would be a lot of fun. So I went to school specifically to get a BA in theater and in English, so then I could teach. And then what ended up happening was my second year of college, there was a game that came out for DS called Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box.
Yes.
And I had gone to E3 and I noticed, because I was a huge fan of the original Professor Layton, that that game got announced and Nintendo wasn't really pushing it. So I made a Twitter account while I was in college as Professor Layton. And this was like the early days of Twitter, the early days
my
of Twitter.
God.
Yeah. And Top Hat Professor, it still exists. You can go find it. And I put together this account where I was tweeting out riddles similar to
my
the riddles you would
God.
find at a Professor Layton game, and then responding to people as the professor. And at
Oh
the
my
time, it
God.
like kind of blew up for what Twitter was at the time. You know, not a lot of
Really?
people had followers, and all the video game websites were picking up on it. They thought it was like a viral marketing campaign through Nintendo. And then ultimately, no, it was just me. And I got a
That's
cease and
crazy.
desist from Nintendo at the time
Oh,
saying,
really?
you need to take this down.
Oh my
because
God.
people think that it's actually us. So you got to take this down. I was like, yo, no problem, no problem. And it like erupted this whole giant thing. You could look up like Top Hat Professor exposed
Oh my God, I
NeoGaf.
don't-
Like this was
what-
years and years ago.
what year was
Because
that?
I was a frequent poster on NeoGaf.
Okay.
Because that was like the place to go at the time to talk about video games. And so I had posted on NeoGaf like, oh, there's this Professor Layton Twitter campaign, because I thought it'd get eyes on it, but I didn't expect it to like blow up in the way that it did. And so when I finally revealed like, oh no, it was actually me. All the GAF posters got like really mad at me, and I
Oh
got
my
banned
God.
from the website.
Jeez.
And this basically, like I said, culminated in me then getting offered a job to do stuff with Nintendo. They were like, you need to do a cease and desist for this. You got to stop doing this for the time being. However, like talk to us at E3 and we'll push you in the right direction in terms of like
So-
working with us in the future. So that's
insane.
how I like transitioned into doing like more video game industry stuff as opposed to doing theater teaching, because I was always a gamer.
Yeah.
And I always like liked going to E3 and demoing games and things, but I was going as a fan really. Like I was technically media, but I had applied as media and got a job through this other site, Gaming Vice, because I did like fighting game community stuff.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up going to E3 in the first place. But then, yeah, that E3 after the Top Hat Professor thing, I got introduced to like a lot of people at Nintendo. Shout outs to JC. He was awesome and like instrumental in helping me sort of like get my first job. Like outside of college, and they also basically pushed me in the right direction. And then as soon as I graduated, I got a job as a product demonstrator for Nintendo in Chicago. And so I did that for about a year. And then I wanted to move to go to Seattle and work in Treehouse. And I had applied to a bunch of different positions. I applied specifically for a localization job, which I got to the final round for. I literally interviewed with Bill Trinan. And Bill had told me in the interview that I'd be great for this. However, I'm not fluent in Japanese. And that was something that they really wanted for the specific position.
Sure.
And like, as I went through the different processes of like interviewing with people and like sending my cover letters and stuff, that wasn't something that was brought up to me. And so he was like, yo, I'm really sorry. I know you already work for Nintendo in a capacity. You're like a contractor and we'd love to have you. But like, one, you're not fluent in Japanese, and two, you don't live out here. And so it'd be very difficult to like give you this position.
Right.
I was like, I understand. So I started applying to a bunch of different video game companies, like in the LA, Seattle, Oregon kind of area, because I wanted to move to the coast. So then I'd have money, so then I could go move to Seattle and work for Nintendo. And what had happened was I had submitted to a bunch of other companies, one of which was Disney Interactive at the time. And I heard nothing. And then I uploaded my Let It Go video, my Frozen cover,
Oh, the cover,
which is like the first official video on my channel. And, you know, I talked about it on Japan Time and people were making memes and I tweeted about it and stuff. But it got a lot of traction because at the time there weren't a lot of guys covering
Doing
Let It Go on
songs, yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
Just like wasn't a thing.
And like Let It
And
Go is like a
Disney-
big boon for a lot of people.
It's huge, exactly, and it boomed, yeah. And Disney actually saw the video and forwarded it to one of the hiring managers at Disney Interactive.
It's crazy.
And I ended up doing contract stuff for them, and that's how I ended up moving out to LA. And then that evolved into doing like social media work for a bunch of different companies, from like Lucasfilm to ABC. Eventually doing like licensing stuff with Microsoft. This one little place called Uptown Treehouse. It was like a whole bunch of different PR jobs.
crazy.
And I was doing, because obviously I found my job basically through me uploading stuff to YouTube. I thought, well, you know what? Like, if that got my resume noticed, I should keep up with the YouTube thing.
Yeah.
So I started consistently uploading like reactions and Pokemon battles and like talking about it on Japan Time and like promoting it. And then eventually what happened was it got to a point in like probably 2016, like late 2016, early 2017, where I realized, oh, I could do this as like a job. If I just focused and did this, I could do this as my main career. And so I quit my cushy contract social media job with Disney subsidiaries, and I started going full-time YouTube, and I've been full-time ever since.
Was it so talking, like, because I feel like the parent talk is like the craziest one of telling your parents, hey, I'm quitting this job and I'm going to do internet stuff. Were they like 100% all in, or were they like freaking out about like,
no, I mean, they understood at the time, because at the time when I quit, I think I was at like 50,000 or 60,000 subscribers, and I was like making good money, and I was talking to them about it. But I said, I really think like if I knuckle down and really focus on this YouTube thing, like I think I could do this as a full-time career. And they said, yeah, do whatever makes you happy. You're good. If you're making enough money to, provide for yourself in Los Angeles, then far be it from us to stop you. And so, yeah, I mean, it really wasn't that much of a discussion. And I mean, it was really cool because at the time I was partnered with Maker Studios. They were like my MCN. Now I'm not. Now I'm completely independent. But at the time I was partnered with my MCN was Maker, which was owned by Disney. So that's like a big portion of where We Disney came from, was because me, Duncan, and Shofu were all part of Maker Studios, which was Disney. So whenever like something would come up on the show, we go, oh, We Disney, because it was like an inside thing about Maker Studios. And then that erupted into me sort of like taking the We Disney thing because I don't swear, and because obviously I used to work for Disney. And so it made a lot of sense. So that's where We Disney comes from too.
Ah, that's cool. That's a cool word. Because I couldn't imagine right now Shofu being We Disney. There's like no way.
Well, because that was the joke, right? Is that whenever me, Shofu, or Duncan got something, we'd be like, We Disney, because Maker was getting it for us, and Maker was a subsidiary of Disney.
Sure.
So
I mean, it's even crazy, like, because when I met you last year at Evo, hearing you swear was that was a weird moment, right? Not because it's weird to swear, because like
we're sitting here in the finals, and I'm like, oh shit,
shit, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is though, it's not like people say that, right? It's just most of my videos are pretty clean, but it's not like I don't swear at all. Exactly. If you can watch my videos, I definitely do. There's one where I call King Dedede an asshole during the Kid K. Rool trailer. So I mean, it's like, there's definitely moments where I do swear, but it's just not something that I do like all the time,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a monster at swearing, but I definitely swear a lot. It's like just something I do, and a lot of people do it, but it's good. It's actually better that you can show and shit like that. But it's like my thing is also so covering anime, right? Was that was the first goal to cover games and stuff? How did it transition to anime? Like, that's what I want to know.
So this was like 2014. So when I moved out to LA, and I was still like uploading stuff to YouTube, but wasn't taken as like a full-time thing. I wanted something that would grow my YouTube brand while I was still working like at a company, right? But I also didn't know like where it would take me. So I just wanted to upload things that I personally was interested in watching on YouTube. Right. So I was a big fan in college of King of Lightning, who does like anime live reactions to One Piece and stuff. I was a big fan of his. And I was like, if he could do this, I could totally sit down and do live reactions and reviews of anime and manga and stuff. So I started. And that's really like the main reason why I started talking about it, was it's something I'm passionate about. Everything on my channel, literally every single thing on my channel comes from me having a passion for that thing. Everything, which is, I think, a big reason as to why I've succeeded over the years, is because people can tell like I genuinely like, people can tell I genuinely like whatever I cover. And then people get upset when I cover something and I don't like it, and then I don't continue with it. And they're like, why not you continue with this thing? It's like, because I don't like it. There's other stuff out there that I do like.
That's
There's
too much stuff to factor, right? Because it's like there are so many anime YouTuber, game YouTubers that cover everything or a lot of stuff. So they end up like hating so many things because they're like, they don't like this. And then people are like mad about it. So it's like, it's always that double-edged sword, right? Of like, if you cover something you love, people will be like, oh, you're not being genuine about it a lot of times. But then it's like, if you cover stuff you hate, people are like, why are you hating on whatever I like, right?
Yeah. But I do think, specifically me uploading the reactions to YouTube and me uploading my anime stuff to YouTube was literally directly inspired by two people, because the anime reaction review side of stuff was absolutely inspired by King of Lightning, like 100%. And the reaction side was completely inspired by Etika, 100%. Because Etika was part of our like friend group in the early days of like before, like really I was uploading anything to YouTube. Shofu was still relatively new to YouTube. This was like during the Etika World Network days where he was uploading like Pokemon battles and things, because we were all part of like this one big Pokemon group on Skype. And then I noticed he uploaded like his reactions to stuff, and I went, oh, you know what? I should really upload my own reactions because I react in a really similar way. I'm like excited about Smash Bros. And if people don't think he's stupid for doing this, people won't think I'm stupid for doing this.
Right.
And so I uploaded the reactions, and that's like how that all erupted. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, like it's so cool too that like we I think we live in an era where we can grow up. I mean, like you're obviously older, like you're 30, right?
Sure.
You just turned 30.
30, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm 30.
I'm turning 24 this year, so I'm like a step behind you.
You're
Like,
young.
yeah, like you know, said like for you, what was it? Original Smash was when you were in elementary. For me, Smash Melee is elementary. High school is Brawl. College is Smash 4, and like university / now I'm done is Ultimate. So it's like I'm like one little side away from you. But it's like I grew up. I don't like the people that have inspired me are all content creators. I'm not someone who's like I've never been inspired by like a celebrity, like a real quote unquote celebrity. It's all content creators. Like I grew up watching Sugar Conroy, like Let's Plays, or like Josh Jepson, or Attacking Toucans, all this stuff. And then I remember growing up and starting to watch like Game Explain, and then I would watch your stuff, obviously your video game stuff, because I didn't care about One Piece at all.
Of course, yeah.
So it's like it's just that thing of like it's so cool that like I've grown up just and a lot of us now, it's like a lot of us grow up now watching content creators as our influence. Because even me, it's like I of course even I want to say I was like 13, 14 years old in high school, just recording, like doing Let's Plays. Like I have like an old channel of mine. It's the one I used to watch videos now anyway. It has like a bunch of old Let's Plays of like me playing Kirby's Return to Dreamland on a ROM on PC.
The unfortunate thing is I wish I still had some of my Let's Plays from like 2014. I really do, because that was something I uploaded so much because I just wanted to see like what would stick. And then obviously the things that stuck were like theory discussions, live reactions, and music. Those are so that's what I focused on. But from that range of like when I moved to LA in the beginning of 2014 and like really until I quit my job, which was like I said, late 2016, early 2017, it was just one of those things where I tried uploading so much to see what was going to stick. Right. And I would literally go to work in the morning. I'd wake up, I'd go to work in the morning, I'd come back from work, I would sit and I'd record, I would edit, I would stay up to do another video because One Piece would leak like really, really late at night. I would then upload that video pretty much unedited, go to sleep at like 3 and then wake up again at 7 to go to work. And that was my routine for years.
Oh my God.
Years. From like 2014 until, like I said, early 2017, that was my routine. And so it was difficult juggling all that stuff while also watching content creators, going back to what you were saying, and trying to see like, you know, what are people interested in and what do I enjoy watching? And how can I make content that I feel like the people that I would watch would enjoy?
Exactly. Like that. I mean, that's kind of how it works. Right? You experiment, but you don't want to like burn yourself. Like I like to do that too. Where like, I cover mostly game stuff. But I cover like usually what I want. Obviously, I love doing reactions and love Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, me too. I think that's the weird thing, right? People always hate on reaction channels, but I feel like it's justified in a weird way because there's some reaction channels that do just like literally sit there and watch things and then don't have any critique or they don't know what they're reacting to. They just sit there and like upload it for views. But then I feel like you can pretty easily tell when someone's faking it and when someone's genuine about it. Just from like watching a video, you could usually tell. And I think usually the genuine ones are the ones that rise to the top. So
because like it's like there's something. I mean, I feel like I don't know how people fake reactions because man, like I don't know. I just get giddy and so excited. Like you know that feeling when a direct or something's about to start. You have your heart is beating so much.
It is.
And you just
it is. Or even like when I'm doing my One Piece reactions, right? I always go out of my way. If I've been spoiled on the chapter, I go out of my way to be like, guys, before we do today's reaction, just I want you guys to know, like, I know this thing about this chapter. So just like go in knowing that like this isn't going to be completely 100% blind. Yeah. And I feel like if you're just open about it and people understand that about you and you're not like faking it, people will like you. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the whole thing about like content creation in general or anything in general. It's like the being genuine, like people knowing you're genuine is like the biggest. That's the sticking factor, right? Thing.
Yeah.
It's all thing. And like, how is because like I don't follow too many anime content creators, right? And it's like, how is it in that circle? Like, what's the fandom like? And
we're all friends. Like literally, we're all everybody in the crazy thing is the One Piece fandom in general is crazy. It's all over the place because sometimes they're cool and sometimes they're like literally the worst fans on the planet, and that's just
Like
how
anyone.
it is.
Yeah.
But the constant is the community, like the YouTube community in particular. Like all the content creators who make One Piece stuff, we're all friends with each other.
Right.
We have DM groups like called the Reverie, and we do like group live streams all the time.
Right.
And so, like I mentioned King of Lightning earlier, I watched him in college. He's now one of my really close friends.
That's great.
Like I work with him on collabs all the time. We're like good buddies. We'll send brand deals to each other and stuff. Like he's cool. So yeah, Chris has become somebody who is now a friend that I started watching, years and years ago. So I guess it's the same thing for you though. Like you said,
I mean, it's
like
crazy,
you saw
right?
it at Evo and then you were like, oh man, I've been watching you for a long time. And now like we're friends. We do Japan time and stuff. So that's just how it works.
Yeah. I mean, like I feel like that's such a thing. A lot of people forget. It's like you can, if you try to meet someone you love and you treat them like a friend and not like, I'm your fan, peace out. Like you are way more likely to actually like end up, just being friends with them and talking to them.
I think a big portion of that though is like not being awkward though. It's like there's so many times where I'll meet somebody and like I don't know if they like me or if they're trying to troll me.
Exactly.
And like I don't really know what they're trying to say. Most people are very nice though when they come up to me. Like but I'd say most people on the whole are shy. Like I don't think most people would just go up to someone and be like, yo, you're the best person ever. Like, let's hang out and do stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it really depends on the person. It's just like the candor and the tone of the person is like when you did it, like with me at Heavenly, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, let's hang out. But then other times someone will be like, yeah, let's go do stuff. And they'll like lurk behind you or do certain things.
So
it's like,
weird.
dude, you got to get the hint, bro. Like, I don't want to hang out right now.
That's the thing. It's like, that's like the biggest, even like, I've only met maybe like, I'd say 10 to 15 people that like know me, but I don't know them. And like that, it's like only a few of them had that thing of like, please get the hint that like I kind of just want to put my headphones on and move away now. Or
relax.
Just, go away. But for the most part, people are cool.
I was gonna say for the most part, people are really cool. So
it's normal too. It's like it's a version of being starstruck of just like you see someone you're like, because even those people, they're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be super chill with them or be shy or whatever. It's all there.
Yeah.
But and it's like. So the thing is with your stuff. So do you for RogersBase, right? Like as do you want that to be a business that like grows into like having other people working in, or is it always going to be
absolutely not?
Never?
No, the only person that works for me is my editor. That's it. Okay. I have an editor that does my Nintendo stuff now. Just because. Most of my anime stuff does better views-wise than my gaming stuff, but my gaming stuff requires a lot more editing. And so for me, I found myself like in a rut a couple years ago where I was uploading a lot of gaming stuff and a lot of anime stuff, but the gaming stuff was more like my passion project.
Right.
And so I would spend all this time editing these videos and they wouldn't get that many views. Meanwhile, like I'd upload just like a random 2-minute video about anime and it would like blow up.
Yep.
And it like messed with me. And then I realized, well, I think a big portion of that is because I'm putting so much time and effort into the editing of the gaming stuff that I then take it personally if it doesn't do well. So when I met my editor, Brandon, and we just sort of clicked and I realized like, oh yeah, my editing style, like, what I want. It's been gravy. So he's been my full-time editor since January and it's been great.
Cool. So you always want to be basically you, right?
Just me.
That's good.
Yeah. I love doing collab streams and I love inviting people on and talking and stuff. But yeah, I never want to be like
business, like
a Spawn Wave or like a Game Explain or something, right? Where there's like multiple people, I like those guys. Obviously, their content's good, but it's just the kind of thing where it's like that's not what I am. I'm always just myself. So, and I want to keep it like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Like, obviously, I love doing podcasts with people because obviously it's way. I tried my Gamescage podcast. I think because it's at episode like 37 or 38 now. The first 4 episodes was just me, and I actually literally would just talk for an hour podcasting alone. Right, and
whenever you want. Yeah,
it's like, and it's good. I can do that, but it's like obviously it's way more fun to be talking to people about stuff. But obviously when I cover somebody, and then when I do my solo videos or stuff like that's way more enjoyable because you feel like you're just in control, right? Yeah, and also like the thing about that is, so when it comes to like you said, the gaming stuff, because you're like a big gamer, right? Was it a mental thing to? I mean, I think streaming, right, is a big way that you've been able to cover gaming more and have it be successful, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think for me, streaming was something that now that I'm doing it, I could never go back to not doing it. Like streaming has made my life so much easier and so much more enjoyable and pleasurable. Like I feel like I get a direct interaction with my audience every time I stream because they're talking to live chat. Like all the memes of my channel erupted from live streams, whether it was like a live reaction or a playthrough or whatever. It's a much more natural way to interact with people. And I feel like, don't get me wrong, I like uploading videos. I do. Like sometimes I'll like just sitting and editing a video and having a discussion, but 9 times out of 10, I prefer to live stream things. Like if I could just live stream everything, that would be ideal.
Yeah.
But I also understand like the YouTube algorithm and like Twitch, and I realized that like you can't just live stream everything.
Right.
So I don't. But like I do live stream most stuff. I feel like I'm looking at my channel right now, and like almost every other thing is a live stream. Right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that's even me. It's like
yeah. I mean, we talk about him a lot, but like really a huge inspiration for me was Etika, and it's weird to say that because like. He was a close friend of mine, right? He's somebody who, like, we were in the same Skype groups together. We would hang out, like him and Giancarlo and Sully. Like, they kidnapped me my first year living in LA to take me to go to Paragon and stuff. And it was like a blast. And that's where I met D1 and EE for the first time. And so, it's like weird to say that about a friend, but like legitimately, when Etika would stream Fire Emblem stuff, that's like my absolute favorite thing. I'll go back and I'll look at old archives of him streaming Fire Emblem, and I'm like, damn, this is the kind of content that like I always wanted to make. Yeah. And so for me, especially in terms of like streaming stuff, and whether it's like anime or gaming or whatever, I always just look back to Etika stuff, and I'm like, is this something that he would have enjoyed? Yeah. And it's a pretty good litmus test a lot of the time.
For sure. No, I of course Etika, like I loved so much, and I would watch so much of it. It's like, and like, oh yeah, man. I mean, again, I get when people do it's a nice thing, but like a lot of people, like I'm someone when I do I have a problem where like I really do freak out about stuff when I get excited for it. Like
same, I know.
Yeah.
Same.
So it's like I get so many people being like, you remind me so much of Etika. You're like a white Etika and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's like, it hurts to hear, obviously, but it's like, I know they mean it from a good place. Obviously,
I was going to say that's definitely not something you should take as a negative.
Of course,
I would say if people see any spark of that in you, it's like that's definitely a good thing. Like for me, I would get that a lot. Even too when Etika was still around, I would get that, and he would play, he would even like make fun of me and stuff when we go places, right? Because his fans are the Joy-Con boys and mine were the Mammoth boys, right? And so we'd always go back and forth. It's like, oh, RogersBase, is a clean Etika reaction type channel, but obviously we're like very different. But I don't know, man. He really is like somebody who I feel like will never be matched. Oh, never. He's one of those creators that I feel like there's no amount of replication or trying to be like him. He's his own person. He's like literally a legend. Yeah. And it's crazy to even like look at the way that people responded to everything that went down. Like he had the clout and the pull and the familiarity with his audience that like people who have millions of subscribers wish they could have. For sure. And I think that's such an important thing to think about. Like if you're a smaller content creator, is it really isn't just about the numbers, right? It's about the community more than anything else. It's about cultivating a community that understands you, that respects you, but is also like not afraid to call you on your BS, and that will support you pretty much whatever you do. Doesn't matter what you upload. They'll watch you whatever you do.
I mean, I feel like that's like the small camp I fall in right now. Of like I right now have like a small community, but it's like people that are having fun with me, making fun of me, watching my stuff. It's like that's like I prefer that so much. It's like I've seen accounts on Twitter and stuff that have way more followers than me and stuff, and their traction is like just really bad because clearly they're not like. Again, it doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means like they're clearly not engaging that much with their community. Like I always tell people it should never feel like a special thing to get a response to me, and everyone who follows me knows that I respond to almost everybody. And that's a big.
That was a weird discussion that actually came up though on Twitter yesterday. Did you see that Twitter thread about that girl who said like, "Please don't talk to me like you're my friend"?
Oh really? Like, which one was it?
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
I don't remember her name. She's like some artist, and it caused like this huge debate amongst people.
Oh my god!
And I definitely fall in the camp where like I always want you to be able to like at me about anything, whether it's suggestion or like something about my videos or a comment on something that I talked about, like anything. I love being added about stuff, but I think when you do get to a certain level, like DMs do have to turn off. Right? They do. Otherwise, because then you eventually start playing favorites and you eventually start only responding to a couple people, and then certain people get upset that you don't respond to them. And then it becomes like this whole big thing where I feel for me, like I'm also much happier with my DMs off. Like I used to have my DMs on and open for everybody. And then it just got to a point in like 2016, 2017 where like I just couldn't anymore because people would bombard me with like One Piece stuff. I'd get trolled about things. People would like be telling me things that really like I shouldn't need to know or like things that I don't want to know, like really very personal things where I can't offer you good advice on any of this stuff. You know, this is something you got to take your life into your own hands. Yeah. And then so it got to a point where I said I have to close DMs. But for me, whenever someone's like, "Oh, can I DM you a question?" Whenever they're like tweet me at that, I'm like, just at me here. Just tell me what's the question, and then I'll always respond to them.
For sure.
Just publicly at me. That's it.
Yeah, because like that's like it's like like even as I mean having your open DMs, it's like it's good and bad for that specific reason of like some people will wanna the unnatural friendship of like I hate that when that happens. Of like
let's talk about this thing. And it's like, bro, I don't want to have a full conversation. I just want to like talk about this one thing and be done for right now.
That's exactly, bro. Like that's it. It's like I wasn't here to become like. It's like I think someone the other day DM me being like, "Hey, do you wanna do something together?" I'm just like, we're not really close stuff. And then he's like, "Oh, do you want to become friends?" And I'm like, okay, when you're starting to ask like that, that's not how friendship works, right? Friendship's like natural.
It's natural. Exactly.
Yeah, you can tell when a friendship's like just not natural, right? It's like,
of course. Yeah. I mean, it's just like doing collabs with people, right? It's one of those things where. I was on a thing with Nintendo Talk the other day. It was me, Nintendo Talk, Nintendo Guru, and Misclick. And we were talking about like the Animal Crossing community and doing collaborations and things. And for me personally, and I don't know if I could speak to everybody, but for me personally, it's never about like, oh, how many like. In fact, it almost kind of bothers me when people are like, well, how many subscribers do you have, or like, what kind of content do you like? For me, what I'll usually do if someone sends me a collab request is I watch their stuff, and I feel like if I enjoy their stuff and we have a good rapport, then I'm willing to do it. And it doesn't matter if you have 10 subscribers or like 1 million subscribers. I'm down to collab with everybody. But I'm also very particular about who I work with because if you don't have that good rapport with somebody and you're not able to bounce off each other, even if you're disagreeing all the time, at least that makes for like enjoyable content. Whereas if you're just sitting there and having a back and forth and going through the motions, then it's not really fun.
I mean, you're super. You're super. Like, it's like even me when I asked you, I knew you were gonna be chill with me about it, just because like,
of course,
we're cool. It's like I know you're not gonna be like, oh, you don't have a certain amount of views, I'm not doing this. You know, it's
that to me has always bothered me. Yeah, it's like because for me, the way I found my editor, the way I found Brandon was. He is on a YouTube channel called Breakroom Arcade. Shout outs to them. And they do like Nintendo podcasts and Nintendo coverage and all this other great stuff. And they have amazing editing. And he had emailed me asking if I wanted to do a collab on one of their podcasts. And at the time they had like, I think like 900 or 1,000 subscribers or something. Right. And I was like, sure, yeah, for sure. I'll do this thing. And we went on the podcast and like, we really had a good rapport. And then I kept doing a bunch of them. And then I eventually told him like, man, do you want to like do editing full time? Is this something that you actually like, are passionate about? Because if that's the case, I got a job for you. That's literally how he got the job editing for me, was us doing collabs with each other. And of course, on top of all that now too, we're also very good friends. And I feel like having an editor that I could trust on a friendship level is also incredibly important.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing worse than when you feel like you're really working for someone and that like everything's a deadline. Everything's like a calculated question just to not offend you or bother you. Right.
Right.
It's it's only but like and like how do you think so like do you think nowadays for people, because I think nowadays I would even say this of like I think it's better to start streaming than YouTubing, and I don't know if you agree with me on that, because I feel like I think you should do like I do both, but it's like I feel like right now people have a better shot when you stream, because YouTube obviously the whole algorithm stuff is all fucky and broken and all that stuff.
Yeah, it really depends. It depends on what type of content you make. I think if you make really good, well-edited, like long discussion type videos, I think YouTube is the way to go still. Because if you upload something that's... Here's my advice. If you're someone looking to like get really big on YouTube very quick, I would say use Google Trends. Google Trends are your friend. Use Google Trends and see what people are talking about. Right. And find something in Google Trends that you are really passionate about, and then ask a question to yourself about whatever that thing is. Like, why is this character doing this thing in said series or whatever? And then Google and YouTube and see if anybody else has uploaded a video on that topic. And if nobody has, do that video. because that means somebody else has been looking for the answer to that question or wants to discuss it, but no one else has done it. And usually that is the best way to get discovered. Because if you're doing something that everybody else is doing, whether it's like Smash reactions or One Piece stuff, it's great. You already have an established audience because then people know to look for you specifically.
Right.
But if you're just uploading like reactions to things that everybody else is doing reactions to, like you're not going to get found in the algorithm. That's not how it works.
You're going to be on the second or third page and no one goes there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. The key is to find something very niche that doesn't really have an audience and something that you also really are passionate about. You can't just like find a niche and then not know anything about it. You got to find a niche, really like that thing, and then start doing videos on it. And that is definitely the key to growth. And that's the key to growth even when you already have an audience, I feel.
Oh, for sure.
Like when you find something that no one else is doing content on it and you're like, oh, I should do this. So for me, like recently this year, I was solo leveling. It's a really good like action drama series. And I noticed like nobody else outside of King, actually, he was the only other person doing solo leveling content. And I thought, well, nobody's doing solo leveling read-through streams. I'll do this. And then I started doing it. I finished the whole series in like 5 read-through streams. Every single one of those videos did like over 100K. We had tons of live, like 5,000, 6,000 concurrent viewers for some of these.
That's crazy.
They really like erupted in the algorithm. And then a bunch of other people started doing solo leveling videos because mine were showing up really high.
Right.
And then that recommended my solo leveling videos to everybody who was watching those solo leveling videos. And then I grew even further. So it's one of those things that if you can create the niche and there's nobody talking about it, you're set. You're golden, because then you'll be recommended on everybody's. If you're the first one to do something and everybody else picks it up, you're golden.
Yeah, I mean, like that's kind of part of why I wanted to do this, right? Because I was like, I was looking at YouTube. It is obviously there's interviews of content creators everywhere, but it's like there isn't like a dedicated show that's like, let me grab Roger, let me grab Heavenly, let me grab this person, let me grab John, let me from gaming, so let me grab even friends that are out there or voice actors online. It's like let me like kind of an interview show for people that are groomed online as opposed to like the bigger exterior people, you know?
Sure.
And it's like I just think, like you said, that's a good idea because it's like it's just the way, not only for you to, because like again, think about it, not many people know a lot of these things you told me today, right? That's like something cool. Like people love discovering stuff. People like knowing shit that they don't know, right?
Exactly. And that's not to say you can't cover popular things.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it's a good thing to cover popular stuff.
Yeah, we all do.
It's really important to carve your niche out first and cultivate an audience based around something you really like that not a lot of other people are talking about. Because then if you start there, you're like, people already sort of have an idea of what your personality is like and what types of things you like. And so you'll get suggestions on other things, or then you could start like naturally integrating things that more likely than not, people probably also like that thing, you know? Like for me, I started doing Pokemon videos and Smash videos and then eventually started integrating One Piece. And now the One Piece stuff is like my biggest stuff.
For sure, yeah. I mean, that's how it works, right? You integrate as you go and you see what people end up liking and stuff.
Yeah, and I still do Nintendo videos. It's not like that stuff has gone away. It's just that I've supplemented it with anime stuff now, and it works really nicely. Yeah. Because then I don't have to worry about something to make. I always have something to talk about. There's always going to be new anime. There's always going to be new chapters. There's always going to be new games.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted about this last night. I was just saying it is just crazy. We live in a time where you could viably, like, your career could just be you talk about what you love with people, right? And that's how you do your thing, right? Like,
yeah, I told like 10-year-old me that this was going to be my job. I mean, this wasn't a thing that existed when I was 10 years old. This wasn't a thing that existed even when I was in high school. Right. There were no pro YouTubers in high school. Really, people started like being full-time YouTubers when I was in college. Right. That was not something that existed even when I was in high school. So it's not something that even crossed my mind at all. I thought I was going to be a theater teacher, do some acting on the side, eventually like work in the video game industry once I actually, did the Top Hat Professor stuff and my career trajectory sort of changed. But I still, at that point, when I was like a sophomore in college and I knew, I'm going to be doing stuff with Nintendo, I still didn't think I would eventually do YouTube, Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like most people that end up being big on YouTube and stuff didn't know they were, right? Like
absolutely, absolutely. Because I think when you go into it wanting to be a popular YouTuber, a popular Twitch streamer or whatever, you're always going to be comparing yourself to other people, and that's just going to be a terrible way to start your channel, right? If you're always constantly comparing yourself to somebody else, and I'm like, why am I not getting as many views as this person? Why are people not watching me but watching this other person? You're going to crash and burn eventually. You're going to burn yourself out.
I mean, I always tell people, the biggest mental hurdle you gotta cross is the numbers, the beginning numbers, right? Of like,
Yeah, for sure.
when you, because even me, it's like, where a lot of people will not stream because they'll tell themselves, why would I be consistently streaming if one or two people are watching, right? But you just got to tell yourself, you're just gaming. Like, have a friend on call with you, just play a video game, and you have to have a list of content out there. I think that's always the thing of, even if it's not getting,
I would say question why you have one viewer, right? I would also question that too.
Yeah.
I would also question, why do you only have like one or two viewers?
Yeah.
And you really want to do this for a career, and if you're sitting there going, well, why do I only have one or two? It's probably because you're focusing on that.
For sure.
It's probably because you're not interacting with the people that are actually in the chat in a meaningful way. You're just like, oh, thanks for being here, but you don't actually really appreciate them being there because you're more like interested in getting more viewers, so you're not appreciating the people that are already there. Yeah. And like you said, I think it's much easier when you're starting to just do like collab streams. People want to feel like they're your friend.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how like Japan Time started, right? I mean, I would not have started uploading stuff to YouTube, including the Frozen video, if people from Japan Time weren't like, Roger, you should make a YouTube channel and upload Pokemon battles and stuff because we want to hear your opinions too. And that flowed naturally out of doing the podcast. I would not have been doing YouTube today if not for Shofu.
Exactly.
Because if that podcast never started, he already had an established base on YouTube and on Twitch and stuff. People already, not really on Twitch as much at the time. It was mostly YouTube at the time, but now obviously on Twitch too. But with YouTube specifically, right? He already had an audience, and I was already super hardcore into Pokemon, and we were already friends.
Right.
And so it was something that like naturally flowed out of it, where I was very fortunate and lucky to have that discoverability right from the get-go. Right. I never really had that moment where it was like I was streaming or doing a video to one or two people. So it's hard for me to give advice to those people, but I would also say it comes from the same thing that I was just talking about, right? It's just like make people feel like they're your friend and like mean it, like actually mean it. Like I think it's one thing to say, oh, make people feel like they're your friend and then like be faux friendly. And then it's another thing to actually like, no, be welcoming and inviting and like be fun. And yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, again, it's I think the easiest advice that I give people and you can give people is just be cool. Yeah. It's just like just be cool. That's literally all it is. Just be chill, be cool. Don't be too crazy, don't be too shy. Just be cool, Yeah. And don't get too obsessed in like you said, the numbers. Yeah. And actually another key piece of advice. This actually has treated me very well, and I would say this is a good piece of advice moving forward. Do not, unless you're gonna make like discussion type content, like long form discussion type content on like a particular topic, do not start with the highest editing quality possible. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, in order to like be a YouTuber, I need to have this, and that, like all the best cameras and equipment and all this stuff. If you start there, people will always expect that of you. But if you start like I started, where I was filming off my laptop camera with the terrible microphone, people got accustomed to that. And then when I upgraded, people were like, whoa, he's really taking this seriously now. So I would say start from wherever. Film on your phone, film on your laptop. For sure.
You don't have to be super highly edited. If you're engaging enough, people are going to watch. It's not going to matter, especially in the early days.
Yeah. I mean, even like a few years ago when I got my little MacBook, I thought that was the biggest deal. And I think you used to record on your MacBook too, where it's like I would just turn it up, record on.
I used to record Pokemon. This is seriously how terrible it was. I used to record Pokemon battles because I didn't have a capture card with my 3DS.
Right.
I would record Pokemon battles with Shofu off of my 3DS screen using an iPad that was angled so it wouldn't glare off the screen. And then I would crop the footage from the iPad of just the 3DS screen. And sometimes I would have to move the 3DS because I'd be pressing buttons, or like the iPad would get shifted. I would then have to recrop that stuff so it took up the entire screen. It still obviously had like the scan lines and stuff and the lines that you'd see on a 3DS screen. And then I talked over it with like my terrible microphone on my laptop. And I did that for a year, like literally did that every battle for a year. And people still watched. So.
Exactly, right. It's I think, I mean, the biggest factor I always tell people, it's about the creator. It's like it's what I tell people. Like a lot of people tell me, how should I start streaming? I'm just like, a good stream is one where it's about you and the audience and not the game. Like half my streams, I'll be playing the game and it's either pause or we end up doing something else because like everyone's just laughing and talking. Like that's a good stream to me.
And don't play games that you think.
Yeah, no, never.
Are going to do well.
God, no.
Play games that you genuinely want to play. Like I recently I finished yesterday my playthrough of Sakura Wars, which is like a visual novel mech warrior type game for PS4. Now, I like dating sims and I like mech anime, but that is not like a mainstream thing that everybody loves. You know what I mean? However, people watched it.
Yeah.
People still like had a good time watching it. And a lot of people have come to me after doing those streams being like, this is never something I ever would have played, but because you played it, I'm now into this.
Yep.
And like, I want to play more Sakura Wars. And, you know, for me, I feel like so many of the games that I'm really into today came from watching people playing them or talking about them. And that was my way of getting into it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like I always find that such a big deal of like when someone says they bought a game thanks to you.
Oh, that's the best feeling.
Yeah,
that's
because
the best feeling.
In my mind, I don't feel bad, but I'm like, wow, you are willing to put down $60 for a game, which is like a lot of money, and because of my feeling on it or your feeling on it or like I thought on it, it's crazy, right?
But I've rarely ever gotten somebody who said they bought a game based on my recommendation and then or after watching one of my videos or something and then was like, oh, this game was actually trash. Why did I spend money on this?
Oh, no, I never.
People are always happy about it because then they feel like a direct relationship with you with that game. You know what I mean?
Exactly. They associate you. What games do, I mean, obviously Smash, but what games do you think people associate with you the most?
I would say probably Smash Bros. For sure. That's like number one.
Of course.
Pokemon, definitely. I mean, 100% Pokemon. That's where my channel started, really, was Pokemon. So Pokemon. I would say most like anime Nintendo games. So things like Xenoblade, Fire Emblem, even not even Nintendo games, but like Final Fantasy, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Definitely Animal Crossing now. I think people didn't understand how much I love Animal Crossing until I started doing the New Horizons streams, and people were like, "Oh no, he genuinely loves this." It's like, sure do.
I mean, I don't think anyone knew how much anyone loved Animal Crossing until New Horizons.
Yeah, but I think it comes down to what I've done playthroughs. I'd say Metal Gear actually now too is a big part of it. That was such a fun, weird, niche project that I did a couple years ago. Where I did Metal Gear Week, where I just took the whole week. It was for like the 20th anniversary of the original game, and I sat and I played through all of Twin Snakes on stream, which was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then I uploaded a video every single day based around another game in the series or like other Metal Gear Solid related things. So like one day I did a Labo stream where I built a Metal Gear. There was another day where I did like a Smash Bros. Brawl stream and I played through Subspace with Snake, like stuff like that. And it was something that, did not get a lot of views at all. But people could tell that I was so passionate about it and I really loved that now people are asking me like, are you going to do another Metal Gear Week one day?
That's awesome.
And
yeah,
I know
that's
it
so
would
cool.
do better now if I did it than it did at the time. So yeah, it's just one of those things, man. It's one of those things.
It's cool.
Yeah, I would say though, primarily, if you're talking about gaming related stuff, I would say the top three that people would relate me to would be Pokemon, Smash Bros, and Fire Emblem. I think those would be the three.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, like, here's like a question, because I feel like a lot of us, I feel like right now online, it feels like this debate is bigger than ever because, like, I feel like community debates have become bigger than ever of this fandom's trash, this fandom's amazing, this one has so much toxic, and I sit there and I'm like, first of all, like, I feel like a community isn't something, it's not like a contract you sign, right? Like, you didn't sign a contract saying you're part of this community. Like, I think being part of a community is just like when you love something enough that you're talking about it online with people. I think that was like a basic outline of what being part of a community is, right? So where do you sit with the fact of when people will say this community is trash or this community is amazing, it's like, and this one has so much toxicity, it's like, well, how do you sit with that in general argument? Because like you obviously cover a lot of different stuff.
I mean, there's obviously I cover a lot of stuff, right? And so I see a lot of different fandoms and a lot of different communities,
right?
And I know it's like weird to say as a content creator, but like there are definitely communities that I made a point to like get myself out of, right?
Really?
Like in the very early days of for Pokemon community is the number one. Yeah. In the very early days of my channel, right? In the very, very early days when I was doing like Pokemon battles off my 3DS with Shofu, for a long time, from like 2014 to the end of 2015, my channel was known primarily as a Pokemon channel. Like my intro, I don't know if you remember my old intro. My old intro used to be the entrance to the Elite Four in Pokemon.
Yeah, I remember that.
XY.
I've seen that.
Song from One Piece, but it was like the entrance into the Elite Four, and then it was the Animal Crossing villager Luffy, and then it would play like the little owl thing, and that was it. And for me, there was definitely a time where I was cranking out more Pokemon content than anything else. More people were watching and cared about my Pokemon content than anything else. And I saw the direction the community was going in like the late X and Y, like early Oris days. Yeah. And I immediately went, nope, and I got the hell out of there. It was one of the, I'm out. Yeah, because I could tell people were putting these Pokemon content creators into like this niche where you are now doing this forever.
Yeah,
like you're
you are
never
slave to
doing,
this.
you're going to be a Pokemon YouTuber. And there was so much drama among the other communities because there was like I don't know if you remember any of this, but there was like Kanto University and then Lumio Station, and like everyone from both of the two of them like hated the other ones.
Jesus.
And then there were like all the, I mean, it was just like, it
That's
was a
horrible.
complete nonsense, right?
Yeah.
And everybody was at each other's throats, and people were constantly starting drama, and it was just like a big mess.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just didn't want to be a part of it. So I purposely stopped for a long time doing Pokemon videos, like completely stopped. I went cold turkey and stopped doing it. And I really focused on doing more One Piece stuff, more Smash Bros stuff, and really moving away from it. But my core audience that really liked the Pokemon stuff that I did stayed. So that when I finally did my playthrough of Let's Go Pikachu, people were like, oh, this is awesome. You're like back to doing Pokemon stuff again. But realistically, now my Pokemon content has shifted from doing like Wi-Fi battles and stuff, which is what I used to do,
Right.
to doing primarily talking about like the news of like new things announced, the reactions to stuff, and then playing through the game on live stream. Like that's become my go-to thing now every other year whenever there's a new Pokemon game, that people look forward to my biannual Pokemon playthrough.
Sure. And
so like I did Let's Go Pikachu, Sword and Shield, and now like whatever the next one's going to be, Diamond Pro Remake, whatever, I'm going to stream that on YouTube too. It's just one of those things that like it's become a natural part of my channel in a way where I'm no longer defined by being a part
you're
of it.
just basically you're just dipping in and out so no one has time to like fucking go at you for that stuff.
Right. But people, I mean, it depends on what people watch of you, right? Because some people will be like, some people consider me like one of the heads of the One Piece community, and then other people are like, he's not a real One Piece fan. He doesn't just cover One Piece stuff. And some people like don't even think I'm part of it at all. There's other people who think like I'm an anime YouTuber, but I'm really not an anime YouTuber because I don't really like anime as much as people think I like anime. I like the series that I like a lot, right? I like Hunter x Hunter and Attack on Titan and One Piece. I like those series a lot, but I'm not somebody who like watches every new anime, each new season and stuff. I take recommendations and I'll watch other things, but I'm not somebody who's like super hardcore into any of that. So I don't really fit in that community. I'm not like a Fire Emblem YouTuber, right? I do Fire Emblem playthroughs and I cover Fire Emblem stuff, but I'm not somebody who I would consider to be like a Fire Emblem YouTuber. But then at the same time, people are like, oh, RogersBase is my favorite Fire Emblem playthrough person. So it's, you know, there's stuff like that where it really just depends on what people are familiar with when it comes to your content. But going back to what you were saying, bringing it all back together with like the communities, right? Thinking of communities toxic or not. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there are definitely communities that are more toxic than other communities for sure. Pokemon's a big one. I would say One Piece is another huge one. One Piece is like, and, oh my God, it's horrible.
Like, because I don't follow.
Yeah. Not so much now, but like last year, especially, or the year before that, it was just like peak toxicity, man. Everybody was at each other's, not the creators, but like the people watching the videos were like at each other's throats. The fans all were super upset about each other. People were arguing about really dumb things. I will say the one community that's great that I've had no real issues with, there have been stupid things every once in a while, but I feel like they're consistently like one of the best is Animal Crossing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like
by far, everyone's super helpful. They're creative. They're open to new people. I would say Animal Crossing is definitely one of the best. And then I'd say in terms of anime, I would make the argument for Attack on Titan.
Oh,
I would
really?
say Attack on Titan. Yeah. I would say Attack on Titan fans, especially people who like follow the manga, are really cool because we just want more people to get into it.
Yeah.
And more people to be reminded of the greatness that they may have forgotten after the first season, you know?
Oh, yeah, because a lot of people like dropped off. Like I remember I stuck around because I love Attack on Titan so much, but it's like, a lot of people dropped off. And I've never seen toxicity really in the Attack on Titan.
Yeah, Attack on Titan and Animal Crossing have been solid all the way through the entire time of my channel. Like that's something where people, you were talking about other things that I did in the early days of my channel, right? Like old videos. That's something a lot of people don't know. If you like go to my channel and then do sort by oldest, after like the Smash reactions and the One Piece stuff, one of the earliest things you're going to see is Attack on Titan reviews. Yes. One of the like absolute early, I've been doing Attack on Titan manga reviews since when I lived in like my old, very first apartment in LA, like my very, very first one. And I've been doing them ever since, every month for every chapter. Right. And that's something not a lot of people recognize about my channel because I only do it once a month because that's the only time there's a new chapter that comes out. But Attack on Titan has been a through line, man. I mean, I've had a solid base who watches just my Attack on Titan stuff since like 2015.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, like that's the cool thing about covering different stuff is people can like look at like even for you, like I watch your gaming Nintendo stuff. I don't watch the One Piece stuff, and everybody has like their jam in there. That's really cool. Yeah, and to kind of like So right now, right, everything you're doing, how are you feeling in general? Is everything going the way you want?
This year's been great. For me, this year's been really good.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate that this year's worked out really well for me because I've seen a lot of people complaining about like ad revenue this year on YouTube dropping, but it hasn't dropped for me at all. And in fact, it's gone up and my retention's gone up. And I think a big part of that's because everyone's at home, like watching stuff.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think the reason my ad rates didn't go down is because people are watching my stuff, and my stuff is also like PG-13. It's clean. And so because a lot more companies are advertising on YouTube videos right now, and they're looking for safe channels to advertise on, a lot of those ads are going to my channel. And so I'm getting a lot more kickback from stuff that other people wouldn't, you know. So yeah, I mean, this year has been really great. Growth has been really good this year. I feel like last year was sort of a misstep for me because I tried distancing myself from the One Piece community in the same way I distanced myself from the Pokemon community for a bit. Like, so I really started focusing on doing Hunter x Hunter content last year and doing the Japan vlogs and all this other stuff, which, you know, eventually now people really like that content. But when I was introducing it last year, people were always asking me like, well, where's all the old One Piece content you used to do? You used to do so much more One Piece content. And the fact of the matter was, like, I was sick of the community. I wasn't enjoying One Piece as much as I was. People were like being really rude to me. And the only real time I enjoyed talking about One Piece is when I was in groups with other One Piece YouTubers where everybody was cool. And it took a lot of time for people to like acclimate to me doing my One Piece stuff in the same way that I'm doing it now. Which is the same way that I was doing when I first started my channel. But because I didn't want to do as much of it, instead of doing like a standalone review and a reaction, I put both of them in one live stream. And so I would only do one Piece video a week. And people were used to like 2 or 3 from me and saw that I was uploading 2 or 3 Hunter x Hunter videos or like all these Japan vlogs. And people were getting really, really upset at me and mad at me because they felt like I was abandoning my core audience, which was never my intention. I just wanted to distance myself in the same way I did with Pokemon, where I didn't want to abandon those people because I love doing that content, but I didn't want to be known as like a One Piece guy, you know? And it worked out in the long run, but it was definitely something that was a problem last year, where now we're introducing more new series like Solo Leveling, and I'm covering a lot of stuff like new Nintendo games. Or I'm really doing a lot more gaming this year than I've ever done ever on my channel before, because now I have like tools and stuff to stream things and do content. And yeah, it's worked out really nicely. So I'm very happy with where I am. Yeah. And I just gotta keep the growth up, man. Keep the growth up and keep focusing on getting new people. Because for me, my community is so solid that like, if literally I stagnated here and like this was the viewership that I was getting forever, and this is like the community that I have for whatever, that's awesome. I'd be cool with this. I love everybody who's involved with it right now. But the one thing that I want to focus on building would be like subscribers, like getting more eyes on my content, just like finding more people to find it. It doesn't even matter if my views go up. I just want more people to be able to discover my content and to like the same things that I like. That's it.
I mean, I think people often associate people often associate you wanting to grow and get a number with being cloud hungry or stuff, but it's like, no, like sometimes you like literally do just want to grow so that more people find your stuff and you have more stuff to put out there for them.
And that's not to say, I mean, there are definitely people who are out there who just like want the numbers, right? Like, they just want all the views and all the subscribers and stuff. It doesn't work like that, you know? It doesn't work like that at all.
Yeah, if you work with that mentality, it's not gonna.
Yeah, you'll grow naturally. If you do things, like I said, like niche things that the people aren't covering, things you're passionate about, whatever, like the viewership's gonna come, the growth is gonna come. Just keep doing what you're doing and try not to let like the toxicity of the other fandoms that you're a part of take you down. That's all.
And like, so on that part, how do you mentally, like, how long did it take you a while, or does it still take you a while to like process like negative? Because like I feel like recently, because for example, let's say on Twitter stuff, there's a lot of people that just like hate me and dislike me, right? And my usual thing will be just like, you know, I used to, when I first like would deal with them, like respond and stuff. Now I just don't. Like, you get to that point. It's like, how do you mentally deal with it?
Yeah, I just don't read the comments anymore.
Never?
Just honestly.
Really? Okay.
No. I do for the first hour, right? When I upload a video, I read it for the first hour, because usually those are people who are like really engaged with the content and really have something cool to say. And of course, I have the thing on where like if another YouTuber buddy of mine like comments on something, then I'll go and I'll see their comment because it's highlighted. But outside of that, I don't read the comments anymore. And when I do, I also have a much better experience than I used to, because I have really good moderators who remove things that are spoilers or people being super rude, or I've got like really good filters on my comments where now like anything that shows up, you know how you have like your comments under review or your comments, whatever. Now I just like will mass click everything. I don't even read them. I just like look at the ones that are under review. I mass click and I get them all deleted, and that's it. And I don't worry about it. And usually the thing is when you don't pay attention to the comments, they'll stop. If you feed into the trolls, if you feed into like responding to people who are saying negative stuff, that's what they want. 9 times out of 10, the people saying something really rude to you, they're doing it because they want your attention, not even because they dislike you necessarily, but because they think you're going to be more inclined to respond to a negative comment than a positive comment. I cannot tell you the amount of old videos that I uploaded where people were like, you don't know anything, man. Your content's like so stupid. Like, why do you think this thing's going to happen in One Piece? You're trash, bro. And then I would comment with something that was like a general response of, oh, well, like, why do you think that? Here's why I believe this or whatever. And they respond back being like, LOL, I was just teasing, bro. Like, I love your content. You're the best. Thanks for responding.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, that happened all the time. Right. And the sooner you realize that like so many of the people who hate you are actually people who really, really love you, you'll feel a lot better about yourself. Yeah.
So. I mean, like I had this like even the other day where, when Sakurai's posting his horrifying daily pictures now. I commented on it and like someone responds saying, "You're not funny," and that person just got ratioed, right? That person was just replying to every person, being like, "I just want their attention."
They want attention. Exactly. I mean, that's where it comes from. Because I don't know if I could speak to you personally, but like for me, if I watch a video that I don't like, I don't literally take more time out of something I didn't enjoy to like write a negative comment or to like dislike the video even. I just like leave it. I go, okay. And I click out and I watch the next thing. It takes a certain type of person to want to engage and do that. Right. And I feel like most of the time, unless there's something where, it's like a general discussion where someone said something blasphemous and you got walking back on it. Yeah. Most of the time, those people just want to be noticed and they want attention and they want to feel like they're heard, right? I think a lot of the time the hate comes from somebody who has something else going on in their life that isn't going well and they want to be able to take it out on somebody, right? The same way like bullies work in high school, right? People who are like abused at home and, yelled at and or maybe have a bad relationship with their siblings or whatever, they go to school and then they bully people because it gives them power, right? I think it's the same thing with YouTube comments. I think it's the kind of thing where there's people who have like bad lives. They just have shitty lives, right? They sit at home and they can't find a job and they're just watching anime all day and they've got nothing better to do. And they see that, you're somebody who is making a living doing what they love and they hate that. And they want to make it known that people out there hate you, right?
Exactly.
Because for somehow, some way that takes away from your success in some weird way, where they feel like that takes away from your success. And the easiest answer to them is either ignore them or on the off chance somebody says something that actually resonates with you, that's a negative comment, that's like coming from a place of being genuine, right? So like last year when I was uploading all the Hunter x Hunter stuff and all the Japan vlog stuff, and people were leaving genuine, thoughtful comments of like, hey, this is really cool that you like this stuff, but we really do miss your One Piece content. Like, why aren't you doing this anymore? Yeah. That's cool. Like, you want the criticism. I think it's always good to get the criticism. It's when things just become like stupid trolly things when it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah.
Where it's just like, hey, notice me because of that. And it's what we always say of like, because and then those people often say, I'm allowed to share my opinion. I'm like, yeah, you're allowed to, but doesn't it's
you're
like
allowed to? It doesn't mean oh my god, yeah.
I
that's
hate
why
that
I don't even block people anymore on Twitter. I don't block people at all. I like don't. I mute everybody because then those people, a lot of those people will like wear the block as a badge of honor almost. Like, I triggered them so much that now they hate me. That's great. And for me, I just mute everybody now. I think we had this discussion on Japan time.
We did.
Where me and Shofu were like team mute and everybody else was team block. And I've got people I follow that I have muted. I just mute anybody. If someone annoys me even slightly, I just mute them. Because to me, it just makes my life better. It's true.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, there's a lot of people I follow that have annoyed me too many times for me to just be like, I like you as a person and I know you're going to get mad if I unfollow you.
Exactly.
And it's going to be this big thing, so I'm just going to mute you and it's going to be fine.
Way better.
And then they yell and avoid, and usually, if I see something else of theirs show up on the timeline again, I'm like, oh, that was really cool. Then I unmute them. But and I just mute everybody.
Yeah. So like,
that's great.
Exactly. Yeah. So like to kind of, we're getting near the end, I guess here, but where do you see, like, I don't want to do the like 10 year, like 5 to 10 years. Where is RogersBase? Yeah.
5 years from now, I'm still definitely doing YouTube for sure. Like 5 years from now, definitely still doing YouTube because for me, One Piece is going to end in 5 years.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Oda's made his comments and stuff. It's like One Piece is probably going to be over in 5 years. And a lot of people have asked me, what are you going to do when One Piece is over, right? Like how are you going to make a living? One Piece is going to be done. for me, I'm actually so excited to go back and reread One Piece,
Oh, really?
knowing all the secrets of the series now and
Right.
seeing the foreshadowing from the very beginning. And so for me, I'll probably end up doing reread-throughs of it, doing like re-reviews, knowing what we know now, discussion content. And then really, I think now that I'm sort of laying the foundation for it with the Twitch streams, doing much more gaming content, like a lot more gaming content. And then really just transitioning into something else. That's it. I think for me, moving away from YouTube, I feel like the one thing that I say is a constant is I'm always going to be working in social media now.
Yeah.
Right? I'm always going to work in social media in some capacity, whether it's for a company that I like or whether it's for myself, like consulting for people. I've amassed so much knowledge from doing YouTube for so long that it would seem like a waste to just throw all that away one day. So even if I didn't do YouTube or Twitch or whatever, I think moving in the direction of social media work and consulting. Yeah. And additionally, I would say like moving in the direction of like hosting more things and doing more like live event stuff. Because for me, I'll get hired to do that kind of stuff occasionally, right? Like I'll do hosting of streams or brand deals or whatever. And it's something that I just like, I don't know, I naturally fell into and I enjoy it. And there's tons of companies that like working with people who have had like an established audience, right? Who clearly like them, but maybe they don't necessarily make as much content anymore, but they know that audience is going to follow them wherever. Yeah. And so that's something I could see myself doing, like more hosting, like more voiceovers and acting, that kind of stuff. But the nice thing about YouTube is, right, like this stuff isn't going anywhere.
Exactly.
You know?
It's
like,
and there's always something to talk about.
Contingency plan. You know what I mean? It's like well, not even stuff to talk about, but I mean, like once you've amassed so much viewership on YouTube, it gets to a point where then it becomes passive income for you. Oh, for sure. Like if I stopped doing YouTube today, right? I would still get a YouTube check every single month. That's true. It would happen because new people are going to discover things. The algorithm finds different things. So that's a big thing. Like for me, when I see YouTubers who are like, oh, I'm moving on to the next phase of my life, and then they like unlist all their videos or like they delete everything. I just want to shake them and be like, no, what are you doing? Like, leave it. You want to watch your stuff? Just leave it. Because I understand the idea of wanting to move on from whatever you were doing previously, but there's always going to be an audience for some of that stuff. There's always like my dad, for example, will watch YouTube videos of like old car shows from like 2000 and like 1999. He'll look up that stuff. There's going to be people 10 years from now who want to look up like, oh, what did people think of One Piece 978 when it first debuted in like 2020? You know, I mean, there's going to be people who are like, what were the reactions like to Smash Bros when Cloud first got announced? Like that's stuff that people want to see.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, and then, go for it.
I was just gonna say, then they fall down the rabbit hole of then watching your other content because they're like, well, this guy was enjoyable, and then you get a new viewer, even if you're not making content anymore. If it's just there, you're gonna grow. You're gonna get viewership.
I love keeping
unless you do something that's super stupid, right? You say something to really make a lot of people mad, or you do something super dumb, and then you'll lose an audience. But really, it's gonna be there. It's just there. It's a passive income for you.
I mean, like I have a video on my channel where it's like from I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. It's like my most viewed video. It has like 30,000 views. It's me like freaking out about a Selena Gomez music video, and it's like it's such a it's like it's just me being a fucking horny teenager. It'd be like, holy shit,
so funny.
And it's like I leave that there because it's just funny that people I find every so often someone finds it, and it's just like a funny thing to have in the past.
Of course, That video for me is a let's play of a game called Frozen Anna Give Birth a Baby. Is the name of this game. It's a weird. It's an old video. Look this up if you're listening to this right now. Look up RogersBase Frozen Anna Give Birth a Baby. It is a 4-minute video in which I play through a game in which Princess Anna gives birth. Jesus. And it is like one of the funniest old videos on my channel. And it was recorded like in my original apartment in LA where I had no money. I was working like all the social media jobs while still doing YouTube every day. I was tired. Duncan sent it to me, and I just wanted to upload this weird video. And it's one of those things, people go back and still find, and they're like, what in the world? Like, when did you upload this? But I keep it there because it's funny.
Of course,
you know?
I mean, I love when people just there's so much footage of me online. It's always funny when someone finds something and they're like, the fuck is this? It's great.
Or they find, like, there was a video I did like 5 years ago where it was a troll video. I titled it King K. Rool Smash Bros. DLC gameplay. Right. And the video was when they put the King K. Rool outfit in Smash 4. And I cut the thumbnail to look like it was just the top of the Mii fighter head for King K. Rool. And it looked like, King K. Rool was actually in Smash Bros. And I edited this video with like fake review quotes and like gameplay of King K. Rool. And I dressed up the Lonk me, like, you know, the Lonk meme from all those years
Oh,
ago.
yeah, of
I
course.
dressed as Lonk me with like a Donkey Kong outfit, and I had Lonk as Donkey
Horrifying.
Kong fighting like King K. Rool, and it was just like the
That's
cringiest,
horrifying.
stupidest video. The amount of people who went back to that video,
Mhm.
like years later, when K. Rool actually got announced,
Oh, right.
and they were like, "My God, you called it all these
You
years ago.
knew
You
it."
called it." K. Rool. Like, that's the best feeling.
Oh,
Or like people who go back and comment on like a One Piece theory from years ago.
Oh, where you
that
got it right.
confirmed and reached a chapter, and they're like, "Oh my God, I remember you did this video, and I just found it. And you got this right. Like, it's amazing." That's the best feeling, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's something about being right about like predicting
it's the best.
something, and people are like, "What the fuck?" And like, yes, that's right.
best.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really cool, man. That was a lot of good insight, a lot of good talks there, and glad you're thriving and continue on there.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Congrats to you as well. I mean, you're growing your audience very well. I think you're on the right path because you've got an audience that obviously cares about you, that will follow you anywhere, that is interested in pretty much whatever you talk about, right? You do like your morning memes where you do videos and stuff. Like, I don't know how you crank out the amount of content you do on Twitter. I think,
oh my God.
in my brain, you wake up and then the first thing that you think of when you wake up is you record a Twitter video.
Yep.
And then like
Every day.
you just literally throughout the day, whatever you're doing, every like hour or so, you'll just like record yourself saying some weird thing and then you upload it. And like that's kind of the way to do it, I guess. If you really want to make a lot of content on YouTube, just like record yourself talking about whatever. And whereas for me, because I'm sitting down and recording long live streams throughout the day or like doing other videos, I don't really have the time to like sit and do that, even though it takes no time at all. But I really should, man. I mean, you're on a roll with something there.
I mean, like the thing about me, like I'm in the funny opposite role of like most people get Twitter followers from their other content. I get my people on Twitter go to my other content. Like I start on Twitter and stuff. It's an interesting
That's the good thing about Twitter and YouTube is I feel like people from those platforms will pretty much follow you anywhere. I've had this discussion with Reagan a bunch of times because obviously she does cosplay and her primary audience is Instagram. And it's so hard when Instagram is your primary audience to get them to go anywhere else.
Oh, for sure.
Because they're used to just seeing a photo. Whereas when you're doing YouTube or like what you do on Twitter where you're doing videos, it's like people have this direct connection with you.
Exactly.
Much more than just like looking at a photo or looking at like a tweet or a blog or something.
I mean,
so they're more inclined to like follow you when you go to other platforms.
Sure. I mean, like now it's crazy that like nowadays you can't be the voiceless head, right? You need to people. Like, there's just no way you can be there's very rare content creators, unless you're doing really high quality coverage and stuff, that you can't show your face and be out there. Right?
I would say the one community, though, where you can do that and really thrive is anime.
Exactly, anime.
Because I think a lot of the time, anime people don't like when people show their face in the videos. Right. Anime people like feeling like, oh, they're watching someone who could just say whatever they want, who's like unknown. One of my buddies, Nux Taku, he does a lot of anime videos, and he blew up from like 50,000 subscribers to like 1.2 million in like a year.
Oh my God.
And he never shows his face in anything. He has a little anime version of himself that he drew, and it's just that. And he shakes the little thing around, and then he shows footage of stuff. And that demographic on YouTube just really likes that. Yeah. They don't want to see somebody's face. They don't want to feel like you're growing from showing your face in the community. They want to feel like they're watching something and they're watching somebody grow from just talking about the anime that they love. And so that's really the only community where I feel like it actually hurts you to show your face is the anime community. But yeah, when it comes to gaming stuff, I feel like you have to. Oh, you have to. You can't, yeah. If you're a gamer, you have to show your face. You
literally do. Like, there's no way you can stream or do something without, like, no one's going to watch. Like, they want to watch something. Because, again, they're watching for your reaction to a moment, to see you, all that stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question then. I want to ask you a question.
What's up?
One last question before we wrap this up. I want to ask you. When it comes to this year, right, and everything that's going on with the pandemic and with, you know, Nintendo Directs not being as frequent and all this other stuff that would normally be content for you, right? Because most of your stuff is like big reactions to the big events. How are you going about making content? Like, what's your mindset this year in terms of making things during a year in which you can't make a lot of content in the same way that you have been?
Yeah, like the biggest, weirdest one has been obviously like Nintendo coverage. Like there's so much. I mean, now stuff is starting to drip feed a bit ever since Animal Crossing, but like it's really hard to just cover constant Nintendo stuff. But for me, so last year I felt was about like, let me build my Twitter. Like, all right, I think last year on Twitter I had in January 1,000 followers, right? And I was like, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna keep building my Twitter, working on that, and slow enroll people into my other content and start consistently uploading, right? And then so I started consistently doing stuff last year, and then this year I'm so lucky that I got this. So in February, late February even, I got a gaming PC finally.
Got you.
So thank God I did that, because otherwise I would not have one now. And ever since I've gotten that, it's been, I try to do, I had some friends nicely make stream layouts for me. And I've just been trying to stream 5-6 times a week, 7 to usually like 7 p.m. to like 9 p.m. ish, or 10, depending on how crazy it goes. And it's just consistently streaming. Like I have videos that I put out there, but streaming has been my big wave, and I'm starting, like, it's definitely starting to move up. Like I think I'm halfway to partner. Like I have consistent 30, because you need an average of 75 viewers. Right now I have an average of 35. So it's slowly getting there, but like I'm doing my daily streams, and the thing about streaming is like there's literally no way, unless something happens, that I'm not constantly getting followers, or I'm getting subs. Like it's weird, because I feel like ever since I started doing this, that's when I've been getting subscribers on Twitch.
I feel the same way too. Obviously, I got memberships on YouTube where people will like. That's primarily where people will pay to do stuff, is on YouTube. But yeah, I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch this year in particular. Really, ever since the Hunter x Hunter Watch News, I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch. And yeah, that's something that I've noticed is literally you could stream whatever. Once you have somewhat of an audience, you could stream literally whatever, and every single stream you'll go up in followers.
Exactly.
Whereas there's definitely been times on YouTube where I've uploaded a video or streamed a video and I've lost subscribers. Even around like the 100,000, 150,000 range, when I first got to that point and I would do a stream, sometimes I would actually do a stream and I would notice over the course of the stream subscribers going down. Whereas that does not happen on Twitch. Like I feel like people just follow everybody on Twitch because they want to fill their front page. Like there's no subscription box that gets clicked, right? You have a little sidebar where you see everybody who's live, and there's always at any point you could be following like 100 people. There's usually about like 10 to 15 people who are live at any given time, and so you're jumping between other people. And then new people are finding you through the algorithm, and they're following you and stuff. So yeah, Twitch is actually a very good platform to grow. And it's sort of in the same way that like YouTube is, where I feel like those people will follow you pretty much anywhere because they're getting to know you.
Yeah. So. And I mean, yeah, like I said, that's why like for me, streaming's been amazing, because like my specific audience, it's like they only like in a good way, they care about me. Like we there's streams where we literally don't do anything except bullshit. Or there was a stream like last week where we literally just browse Twitter. Or there's streams where we watch videos or do it's like the streams are so, like I was doing an Animal Crossing stream, it crashed like some people would disconnect when they came in, then midway through we go do something else. So it's literally, my streams are all about just me talking to the chat, messing around and all that stuff. And like I just want to keep doing that. Like I don't want to ever be associated with one game or one thing. It's like I just want to cover whatever the heck I want.
Whatever you want to cover.
Obviously, there's like a thing that like obviously people latch on to me and Nintendo the most, because that's what I latch on to the most. But like that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna I've been using all this free time to just consistently stream and keep trying to put out content out there.
Right on.
Just leaked. There he is. Oh my god.
I just linked to a Sora render for Smash Bros.
Oh my god, there he is. He's in. It's over.
He's in. Right there.
Do you think we're getting that? Do you think the ARMS rep is gonna land in June?
Yeah, for sure.
You think?
Yeah. The ARMS direct is still good.
All right, sorry guys. By the way, we had a technical difficulty moment, but I fixed that. But yeah, so as you're saying, there, what were we talking about? We were saying,
I don't remember.
Something about. Oh yeah, we were talking about the ARMS characters are gonna land in June.
Oh yeah, the ARMS character.
Exactly.
Yeah, what about? Yeah, so I think the Smash Direct is still gonna happen. I think it's gonna be. You know how normally he would do it from his office. I think it'll be from his home.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it'll be from his home. I think we'll see a little sneak peek of his cat. I think we're gonna see his cat because he loves showing off his cat.
So.
And I think we're gonna see gameplay of the ARMS character, and then I actually think it's gonna end with the reveal of the next character.
Ooh, that'd be wild if we get Sora. Because
I don't think we're gonna get a major June Direct, because they already said we're not gonna get one, and I really don't even expect another Direct until like August.
Right. Yeah.
And then that's when I think all the Mario stuff's gonna get announced. But I think the June thing is gonna be just Smash.
Right.
You get the ARMS character shown off, new Mii fighters, and then the teaser at the end of the next character they're working on, who will eventually be coming out in like, I don't know, December.
Maybe late fall, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, all that content for Nintendo is Japan Timeable, Japan Time Podcast.
Of course. We'll talk about it in Japan Time, of course.
And also, just last thing here before we wrap up, Roger, just want to say thank you for like you don't know, because I was like, whenever Japan time dropped, I was like there second when I'd be so excited to listen to it. So to be on it, like, I'm so glad I messaged you and I was like, hey, could I be on sometime? Because here I am now, just consistently
we're always very open to new guests. People are always like making fun of us, but we're always open to it. So
for sure. But no, thank you so much for letting me be on there and be cool with you guys. Because I think I remember the first episode, I was like super like nervous, but now I just feel like I'm chill with everything.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all. Anyways, so obviously, where can people know where you can find you, but you could plug your stuff real quick.
Sure, you can find me at RogersBase everywhere, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, and on Instagram. I do live reactions and reviews of each new One Piece chapter every single week, as well as gaming live streams on Twitch, usually around 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. every other day. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope Roger, you think this is a good idea. And
it was great. Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll bring you more. If you people in the chat have people to recommend or people you want to see, let me know. And hopefully I'll bring them on. That's it. That's all. Thank you.
You should have Shofu on.
Shofu? Would he do it?
Yeah, you should do. Yeah, I think he would. Yeah, you should have Shofu on.
All right. Should I ask him? Should I just be like, shoot?
You should.
All right. I'll
ask him in the next Japan time. Be like, can I interview, buddy? I bet he'll do it.
All right, cool. All right, so, well, hopefully look forward to Shofu on some episode. Thank y'all for coming, guys. We'll see you all next time. Peace.